Welcome back to Karma Demystified third session. We are very systematically unfolding the law of karma and the mysteries around supposedly the complicated term karma. So we are systematically starting. We covered 2 sessions and we will be covering an important session today, karma based on attitude of the performer. That is the topic. But let's get started. Let's ground it where we are and then we try to unfold the next topic. So the goal is in the next 12 session, meaning overall 12 session, we get an end-to-end view of the karma. So once we cover 4 or 5 topic, we will break 1 week and we will answer all the questions you have on this topic. It's very important that you understand the karma, right? So sometimes karma seems to be very complicated, but we are trying to logically understand the karma. So with that context, let's get started. So let's get started. Okay, so what we learned so far. In the first session, what we did was we defined karma. So we defined karma in 2 different angles. The first definition is anything we do is karma. Anything we think, anything we speak, and anything we act is karma. That is the first definition. Anything we do, karma as a kriya, as an action. Hope this is very clear because this is very simple to understand. Anything you do with your mind, anything you do with your speech, anything you do with your body, that is karma. So that is one dimension of the karma. The scope of the karma is not ending there. If that is the case, karma was the kriya. But it is not just the kriya, it is the unseen result you accumulate as the result of your action. So we already saw that every action will produce some visible result and an invisible result. So that invisible result, what is known as samskara, that leaves something in our mind which is going to affect the way we think, the way we act, and the way we get into the future situation. This is known as the second dimension of the karma. So, and also we talked about a cycle where you start with an intention and that intention will turn into an action and that action will get some result, unseen result, and that will create further impression which will create new intention. So this is kind of a cycle. So this impression what we accumulate as a result of the karma, it shapes our habit and it shapes our personality and it is going to influence our future experiences. So whatever we feel right now, why we feel certain way, why we forced to act certain way, it is due to the accumulated karmas of the past. If the past karmas is determining our personality, the present personality, we have an opportunity right now. By conscious action, by skillful action, we can influence the future. So that is the beauty of the karma. So the karma, that is very important. So we are who we are now because of our own action. It is not a punishment from God, the above. It is just because of our karma. So this is the foundation of the karma we have seen. And in the second session, in the first session itself, we removed some myth. The karma is not a punishment. It is not a fate. It is not an instant response. Sometimes it will take like even lives after life for the fructification of that invisible karma. It's logical. It is impartial. It's an educational system. It is not a punishment. It is neither a reward nor a punishment. And it will be just. It will be exactly what we deserve. So if we go through a situation, definitely there is something behind that. So that's also we learned. And in the last session, what we try to understand, what we try to explore, the different classifications of karma. We can classify the karma based on, first thing is that based upon the first definition, karma as a kriya. So anything we do can be classified into four ways. The first one is based on purpose. That's what we saw last time. Nitya karma, Naimitya karma, Kamya karma, Nishikta karma, and Prayaschitta karma. Nitya karma means the karmas I do on a day-to-day basis. Naimitya karma means it is the occasional karma. Like suppose somebody is sick, I need to go and see them. Or suppose like annual and every year I need to file the tax return. Or some special occasion, based on that nimitta, I need to respond. Nishitha karmas are the karmas which are prohibited. I should not be doing as a human being. It is below the dignity of a human being. That is the Nishitha karma. And finally, Prayaschitta karma is the corrective action. Like suppose by mistake, omission or commission, I did some mistake and I wanted to correct it, and that is what is the Prayaschitta karma. And that is one way of classifying the karma. And we have seen additional way of classification, like based on the dharma, based on my swadharma. Swadharma means what I need to do. That is the swadharma. Based on that swadharma, I can classify the karma also, right? I can say that like niyata karma and aniyata karma. Niyata karma means what I should be doing. It is absolute must have. Like I based upon my duty, I should be doing. There is no option. I should be doing. Aniyata karmas are the optional karma. They are optional to me. Okay. Like I can do that or I cannot do that, but I should be meaning there is absolute, it's a choice. So one is the must have duties and the other one is nice to have or the choice. So that is based on dharma or swadharma, to be very specific. So this is the two classification we have seen. And today we are going to see the next two classification of karma based upon the definition of karma as a kriya. And then we are going to go to the next definition and try to understand the different terminologies of karma or the different classifications of karma. So today what we are going to do is the karma also can be classified based on the attitude of the performer. So let's say that I do a karma, what should be the temperament of my mind? That is going to affect the qualities of the karma, that is going to affect the qualities of the result. So this is what we are going to see. Attitude of the karma we can classify. The way we classify it is Sattvika karma, Rajasika karma and Tamasika karma. So we will try to deep dive into this and we will try to understand. And finally, based upon the context, we can define the karma as Laukika karma and Vaidika karma. So let's go to the first topic, karma based on attitude. So this is very important, right? So every action we do, it is colored by the mindset behind the action. So let's say that the quality of the doer determines the quality of the doing. This is very important to understand. Let's say that I'm cooking a meal. I can cook the meal with love and affection. That is one way of cooking. I can cook that same meal like agitated. Oh, I need to do this by this time. I'm under pressure, stressed, or I should be like, I should cook with a different mindset. And I can cook that meal with a curse. Oh my God, this is such a pain for me. So the same karma, depending upon the mindset of the doer, can be three different types. So what exactly is determining the mood of the mind or the temperament of the mind? In Sanskrit, we call it as gunas. Thus, in ancient Sanskrit literature or in ancient Vedic literature, we say there are three gunas. One is called sattva, the other one is called rajas, and the other one is called tamas. Depending upon the quality of that mind, our choices of action will vary, the quality of our action will vary, and the performance of the action will vary, and the result of our action also will vary. So think about this. If we have clarity and if the mind is clear, if we have focus, it produces the best action. I'm not stressed. I know what is to be done. I can do it. I'm very clear on that. I can do it. So this is the most constructive type of work. The second kind of work is I'm agitated. I work hard. I do all the work, but you may get the result. But what happens? It is stressful and it is impulsive actions can come. And the third category of action is it's a dull or a deluded mind. I don't want to work or I don't know why I am working. So that type of work, it produces careless work, lazy work, and sometimes harmful work and sometimes wasteful action. This is exactly what it is. And this is applicable in the modern management, in the modern world. How your mindset determines the quality of the action and the stress you encounter and the result of the action. I don't have to explain this a lot. You all can understand. The only thing is that the scriptures try to classify this with three technical terms: Swatika, Rajasika, and Tamasika. So the quality of the mind influences the quality of our action and thereby the quality of the results. This is an important topic. So there are three meaning the way the scriptures classified is three. Sattva, it gives clarity, harmony, and balance. Rajas means hyperactivity, extreme binding desires, restlessness. Tamas means inertia, confusion, and dullness. So this mental temperament shape how we perceive, think, and act. This is very important. And every action is influenced by one of these qualities of the mind. Now the question is, this is where the confusion. Don't think that one person is fully Swatik, the other person is fully Rajasic, and the third person is fully Tamasic. That's not how it works. It works totally differently. So don't think that one person is completely Swatik, the other person is completely Rajasic, and the third person is completely Tamasic. No, that's not how it works. Sometimes what happens? My mind, nobody is pure Sattva. First understand that. No mind is pure Sattva. No mind is pure Rajas. No mind is pure Tamas. Every mind is a combination of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. In every mind, there is creativity, focus, clarity. In every mind, there is agitation, stress, hyperactivity, binding attachment. And every mind, there is dullness, confusion, lack of clarity, harmful thoughts, everything is there. The only difference is what is the predominance. Predominance. So what if Sattva is more than Rajas and Tamas? I will be predominantly focused. I will be less stressed. I will be doing. Sorry, I am getting an echo. Are you getting an echo? Okay, that seems to be good. Hello? Okay. Interesting. Okay, sorry about that. So this is what happens. This is such a scientific study. This is a brilliant study. You won't believe that this study happened 5,000 years back. Just understand. So at any point of time, our mind will be dominated with one guna over the other two, and that is going to determine the quality of my action. That is going to determine the quality of my results, everything. Now, one person itself can be in different mood at different time. For example, when I wake up, I am Swatik. My mind will be predominantly Sattva. When I go to work, when I see all these nonsense, what happens? The same mind can turn into Rajas. Evening when I come back, like late night, 2 o'clock when I watch Netflix with some popcorn, the same mind can be dull and tamasic. So the same mind can vary at different time. And some people, right, with respect to work, they don't have any stress. But anything happens to the child, completely stressed. So depending upon the situation, the mind can vary. Depending upon the time, it can vary. Depending upon my own maturity, it can vary. So at any point of time, what exactly dominates my mind is going to determine the guna. This is what happens. I think I have some echo. Just give me 1 second. Okay, hopefully this is that's what is happening. Okay. Changing my microphone. Okay, hopefully this is better. If everybody can mute their audio, that would be great. So this way there won't be any echo. I can do that by myself here. Just give me 1 second. Okay. It's on my side. Okay, is it better? Okay. Sorry. So this is very important teaching. So the gunas, what exactly is the gunas dominate your mind is going to determine the quality and the quantity of your action. So let's continue. This is such an important topic. We need to understand this. So let's continue. So sattva is clarity, harmony and balance. Rajas means it is drive, like sometimes agitated drive, desire, restlessness. Tamas means dullness, confusion and inertia. Let me just take a pause here and make it very much related to your life and modern psychology. What exactly is stress? You can unmute and talk if you want. What exactly is your understanding of stress?
The flight and fight response in
exactly.
Situation.
Yeah. So the divine has designed a system for us. Whenever we get into a dangerous situation, what happens? There is not much time for me to think and act. So some hormones comes to my system and it is going to make me act worried. Why that worry is coming? Anxiety is coming? Because I need to get out of that situation very quickly. Let's say that there is a fire or I am in front of a tiger. I don't have much time to think and analysis, doing all the logical analysis. I need to get out of it. So what happens? Adrenaline and cortisol will come to my bloodstream. Immediately the system will shut down all the non-essential activities, and like the heart will beat high. I get all the energy. I can get out of it. But this is designed only to operate only at certain special occasion. So there is a manufacturing defect, as Swami Chinmayananda used to put it. What happens? These stressors are designed only for the life-threatening situation or such high demanding situation. But our brain, unfortunately, do not differentiate between what is happening as a physical threat versus a psychological threat. Let's say that I have a deadline at work. That also going to give me exactly the same type of flight, fright, freeze response compared to I am facing like a tiger or a fire. This is a problem. So stress is good for me. If you ask me, like, if the stress was not there, our survival would have been difficult, especially ancient times. You don't know, like, when you are encountering a tiger. You don't know when you are encountering a forest fire. This is the problem. So, but in modern times, such situations are very less. Still stress is needed. Like, without that stress, you cannot meet a deadline. Without that little bit of stress hormones, your performance will be low. But if you think about the stress level you are encountering and what exactly required, it will be much, much, much more than that. And that work is known as Rajasic work. I work, but I am extremely stressed. By the end of my work, I feel completely exhausted. This is the problem. Whereas Sattva means what? Yes, you work hard, you do the right thing, but you are not anxious. You are not extremely anxious. You are not very much bothered with the past worries and future anxieties. You know what is to be done, you can execute it, you can navigate, you are in a flow kind of thing. You can easily work. Whereas the other one is what? It's like driving a car in the first gear in a highway. What happens? The engine will heat and it will get exhausted. That work is called Rajasic work. Whereas Swatik work is what? Like smooth going. It won't create much noise. Whereas a Rajasic person, when he works, what happens? Oh my God, the entire world will come to know that he is working. Whereas a Swatik person, when the Sattva dominates your mind, you work nicely. It's like imagine like getting into an auto rickshaw, even though he moves in 20 miles per hour or 10 miles per hour, the type of noise it creates, and a Tesla, when it drives 100 miles per hour, nothing. Sattva is like that. You may do all the work, you may efficiently do the work, but not much noise. You are acting, you are not reacting, right? You have clarity, you have complete harmony with your internal system, you are optimally using your system, and you have complete balance. Rajasic people are also not lazy people. They have the drive, they are extremely agitated, they are over anxious for the results, they are always worried about the past. This is the problem. They also get the work done. The first category also get the work done. What is the problem? Do you want to work like that? And imagine how do you operate in our day-to-day life. This is what Karma Yoga is going to come and tell me. Convert that like Rajasic action to Sattvic action. It's not, you may do the same work. You may go to the same work or office, you may face the same difficult kind of people, but I cannot control the other people. I cannot control what comes to me tomorrow, right? It's beyond my control. But I can completely control what should be the state of my mind. And this is the game-changing secret given by Krishna in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga. So this is how to transition the way you work from like a noise, desire-focused, extremely agitated, worried, anxious type of action to smooth flow. This is the mantra. And this is the difference between Sattva and Rajas. What about Tamas? I don't want to work. I have no clarity. I take shortcut. When I do not have clarity, what is going to happen? I make mistake. I do something even bad. I don't know what is right and wrong. I have no clarity. I have no idea about dharma. I will make mistake. This is tamasic. This is very much relatable to each one of us. The same action, but your mindset is going to determine the state of how do you feel? Like if you work in a Swatik way, it brings happiness to you. That is the scriptural promise. If you work rajasic, you may get the results, but you will be under stress. Tamasic means it will create confusion, it will create problem, it will make you lazy, and it is not good. So what is the guidance given by the scriptures? Move your action slowly from tamasic to rajasic. It's better to do something rather than sitting idle and doing something wrong. So rajasic action, stressful action is better than like laziness. And from there, move to sattvic. This is the idea. So we had that discussion. So let's continue. So sattva means calm, steady, light and harmonious, and it is guided by the wisdom, not by the impulses. Actions done with focus, care and balance leads to peace, confidence and inner upliftment. This is exactly what is defined by the Bhagavad Gita on sattva, chapter 14, verse 6. So modern example, responding thoughtfully instead of reacting, studying with focus, not scrolling to Instagram midway, right? Helping someone without ego or like some expectation. All this is sattva. So sattva elevates the action, not just the action, but the actor also. So the next one is rajas. Rajas means hyperactivity, restfulness, driven by the binding desires, fear, competition or comparison. Competition is there, but how do you approach it, right? If that competition is going to create stress, and if that stress is going to affect you, that competition is not good. The competition should be giving you only the motivation to work. I don't know whether you have seen, there is something called the break-even point of the stress. Like somebody did, I don't know which scientist it is. Yeah, there is a beautiful book called Flow. The Flow, it's a beautiful book, very deep. I forgot the author's name, Michel, something like that. It's very hard to pronounce. He passed away very recently in New York. This is a Nobel Prize winning discovery. What he found out was, when you work, the stress initially is going to make you a little bit more productive. It goes to a break-even point. After that, what is going to happen? Any increment of stress is going to put your performance down. So imagine, if that deadline is going to stress you too much, what is going to happen? You cannot perform optimally. This is a groundbreaking research in the modern neuropsychology. So you can all go and research, and that is exactly what is given in Vedanta. So mind constantly jumping from what is next, what else, and it's not focused. It produces extreme stress. It is hurry, emotional turbulence, like success short-lived leads to more and more and more, right? So the rajas moves you like it will never let you rest. You feel exhausted, and you see like in California and all, CEOs breaking down at the age of 42, right? All these terrible stories. And look at our own life. We work so hard, but what happened? Are we happy? Are we contented? Are we feeling very stressed? If that is the case, that is just because of this. So as I said, like you cannot completely avoid this, right? So you cannot certainly completely avoid this, but you can certainly minimize the influence of rajas. So this is very important teaching. Let's continue. The next one is tamas. So tamas means it is dull, heavy, confused, careless state of mind. So what happens? Leads to procrastination and destructive impulses. So you act without any thinking. That's essentially it is. You act without clarity, thinking some like this will cause pain to oneself and others. Like sending angry message that you reflect, meaning regret. Like low energy next day, sitting late in the night, tamas. Escaping into addiction, all that is tamas. So the tamas clouds the clarity and it distorts the action. Instead of doing what is to be done, we do what not to be done. So this is defined in the Bhagavad Gita, chapters 14, 6, 7 and 8. I just gave the exact quote, you can read it. Sattva brings clarity, lightness and harmony, and it uplifts. Rajas, it is born of desires, meaning binding desires. It binds through attachment and activity. Tamas is born from ignorance. It creates inertia, confusion and delusion. So this is the psychology of the human mind revealed by Gita 5,000 years back. I can quote at least 100 very relevant modern research on the same topic. So imagine the depth and breadth of our scriptures. Just appreciate that. We should be proud of our scriptures. Okay, so with that, let's continue. So as I said, like people are never 100% sattva, rajas or tamas. Like gunas can change throughout the day and throughout the situation. Morning you can have clarity, sattva. With work pressure it can go to rajas. Late night craving it can tamas. So the dominant guna like decides how you speak, how you act, how you experience stress. The inner states, as your quality of the mind changes, so is the karma. So the same action can manifest in different way. So based upon the mental temperament of the performer, the actions can be classified as sattvika, rajasika and tamasika. So that's what it is. Like as I said, like cooking calmly with love, sattva, cooking for praise or with anxiety or extreme agitation, that is rajasika, cooking with inertia or irritation, that is tamasika. So this is what it is. And the swatika karma, when the performer's mind is in sattva stage, that karma becomes swatika karma. This is defined in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, shloka 23. So it's done because it is right. You do what is to be done. You are free from binding attachment. What does that mean? A lot of people think that you don't care about the results. That's not the case. You care about the results more than anyone, but you are not bound by the outcome. World Cup final 2011, right? Those who watched. If Mahendra Singh Dhoni was completely bothered about the outcome, do you think he could perform? Why Mahendra Singh Dhoni is always known as Captain Cool? Captain Sully, when that flight was on the top of the Hudson River, if he was obsessed with the outcome, you go and watch his interviews. He said, I was not worried about anything. I was just doing what is to be done. That presence of mind is sattva. They are calm, they are clear, they are responsibly driven, and it purifies the mind. And when you perform the action with a sattva mind, that becomes a yoga. So this is the definition of sattva. I gave the Sanskrit just for clarity. We are going to study this in Bhagavad Gita later, so we don't want to go words by words. I just quoted the shloka just to make sure that this came from Bhagavad Gita. So caring for our family, doing our duties, selfless service, all this comes as sattvic activity. Again, understand that when the performer's mind is predominantly dominated by the sattva guna, the action becomes swatik. That's it. Now, what is Rajasika? Again, the Bhagavad Gita defines Shloka 18:24, driven by desire, ego, like achievement pressure. Everything is binding. My success, I am only obsessed with a particular outcome. Anything else I cannot accept. And that automatically creates anxiety. High stress, high anxiety, result obsession, like emotional disaster. All these things is the characteristics of the Rajasika action. So remember earlier what we defined in the previous slides was the qualities of the Rajasic mind, and here what we are defining is the karma, right? This is exactly what our topic is. When somebody performs the karma with a Rajasic mind, what type of karma it is going to be? It's very stressful karma, right? This is what it is. So like overwork, controlling others, fear-driven, all these fear-driven parenting is Rajasika. Okay. Tamasika karma. Tamasika karma means without thinking any consequences, impulsive, careless, harmful, like it creates problems. Anger burst, addiction, reckless behavior, inertia, all these things are Tamasika karma. It comes from a confused, dull mind. This is Tamasika. So, in modern psychology, Sattva means emotional intelligence, clarity. Rajas means anxiety, hyperactivity, compulsive drive. Tamas means avoidance, shutdown, denial. This is exactly mirrors the cognitive behavioral pattern in the psychology. That's why I said at least I can point out to you. I was doing a deep research on this topic. At least 100 plus well written, peer reviewed, published articles are there exactly pointing to this. Most of them don't give credit to Bhagavad Gita, but you can easily make it out. Okay, so that is what it is. So leadership styles. A Swatika leader, he will be calm, ethical and inspiring. A Rajasika leader, he will be very competitive but very aggressive. It will burn out everyone. Tamasika leader, confused, reactive, disengaged. That is the characteristics of a Tamasika leader. So how to shift towards Sattva? Like clarity of purpose, reduced overstimulation, healthy and quality food, faith and confidence. These are some of the techniques given. We are going to see this later, but this is just a little bit of understanding. Now the next classification, so this is what one way of classifying. This is how we classify the karma in the third category. Now finally, the fourth final topic of categorization based on karma as a kriya is based on the context. In ancient Vedic period, the Veda, there are two types of karmas they described. One is Vaidikam karma and the other one is Laukikam karma. Why the exact definition given by the scriptures is, one is Veda Vihidam and Laukya karma, the definition is Lokasiddham. So if you look at the karma kanda of the Veda, you see lot of rituals. If you want a child, you see Putra Kameshti. If you want to do a Prayashchitta, there is a ritual. There is rituals after rituals after rituals. What exactly it means? So in the ancient worldview, right, they try to emulate your worldly activity through a worship activity. And how do you worship? You sit and give an oblation to a devata. It's kind of invoking that unseen potential for the fulfillment of your desires or for the fulfillment of the entire community. Like, let's say that if you want to become rich, what do? You go and hard work. You put money in the stock, you invest it nicely, you earn. That is Laukikam. That is the Lokasiddham. Complementary to that, in the ancient time, in that ancient worldview, what they used to do was, you do your work, but along with that, they realized that your work alone will not produce that required result. So they surrender to the Almighty, and they used to worship Almighty through some rituals for gaining the same result. So Vaidya karma is a ritualistic version of your Laukika karma. And even the Vaidya karma, you can do Nitya karma, you can do Naimitya karma, you can do Kamya karma, you can do even Nishiddha karma. Sometimes let's say that suppose you pray that somebody else needs to go down. Somebody asked about Shatru Samhara Puja. Shatru Samhara Puja is traditionally not to hurt anybody. So let's understand that. The purpose of the Shatru Samhara Puja is what? It's not to samhara means destroy an outer enemy. The purpose of the Shatru Samhara Puja in the Veda is where exactly is my biggest enemy sits. In me only. My own wrong thinking, my own wrong habits, my own wrong belief, all that needs to go. So I do Shatru Samhara Puja to save me from myself. Like all the challenges from within. So that is the real purpose of Shatru Samhara. But people do that in the modern world, they go to the temple, do a Shatru Samhara Puja thinking that their enemies should come down. That's not the purpose. If your sankalpa is the destruction of somebody else, that becomes a Nishiddha karma. That's it. So this is the difference between Vaidika and Laukika. So in modern times, this Vaidika karma do not have much relevance. Yes, you may do a little bit of here and there, but the concept of yajna is gone. So the yajna means people used to have a kunda, and they used to offer something, ghee or some seeds, etc. What the idea is, you are offering that to a deity, and the deity will receive it, and you will be blessed. That's it. But modern times, that doesn't have much relevance, so you don't need to worry about that. But just understand that sometimes the scriptures talks about Vaidya karma. Vaidya karma, the moment scriptures talks about Vaidya karma, it is the karmas prescribed in the karma kandas of the Veda, and this is the purpose. Laukika karma is the Lokasiddham. Whatever you want to achieve in the world, that is Laukika karma. Okay. So recap whatever we covered today. We covered a lot of topics today. We talked about the gunas of the, meaning how the karmas can be classified, that last two classification of karma. One is based upon the gunas of the karta. Second one is what? Laukika versus Vaidika. Based on the guna, the mind can be in sattva, rajas, tamas, and depending upon that, the same karma can be different. And when the doer's mind is predominantly in sattva, that karma is known as swati karma. That becomes happiness, that becomes stress-free, and that is the ideal way of working. And when the performer's mind becomes rajasika, that becomes another agitated, anxious, stress, even though the work gets done. That's a different way of executing karma. And finally, when the performer's mind is tamasika, that's a different kind. So this is what it is. So with that, we covered all the 4 classifications of karma if you see karma as the kriya. So karma based on purpose, what are they? Nitya, Naimittika, Kamya, Nishiddha and Prayashchitta. And we saw karma based upon swadharma, that means niyatam, aniyatam, what is to be done, mandatory, what is optional. And then we saw karma based upon the mind or the mental temperament of the performer, and that is essentially sattvika karma, rajasiya karma, tamasiya karma. And finally, we saw based on the context, it can be Vaidika karma, or Laukika Karma. Why we covered all these topics? These terms comes in the scriptures. Now onwards, at least you know exactly what it is.